Hi, Collie. You going to teach class with me today? She's not so sure now. Welcome, everyone. This is the last stretching class that we had scheduled, and it is a full body stretch class. So you're going to have to get out of the chair for this one. You're going to have to find a little space on the floor somewhere. And I'm going to recommend grabbing some kind of big pillow or bolster or a blanket or a towel that you can fold or wrap up, because we really want to stretch the whole entire body, and you can't do that as effectively without a little prop. So I have yoga bolsters, of course. These are not your everyday product around the house. This one is called a pranayama bolster. So you can see kind of how thin it is and how thick it is. And so it's, if you have a smaller frame, or if you're really trying to focus on opening the chest area, or certain parts of the body, this is good. This is what they call a restorative yoga bolster, which is a little bit bigger. So you can tell the difference between the pranayama bolster and the yoga bolster. Actually quite bigger. It's at least twice as big or twice as wide. It's about the same width and length. So if you have a bigger frame body, you're going to want this, or yeah, just depending on how big you want to open. As far as blankets, try not to get a quilt or something really fuzzy. Get something firmer like a Mexican blanket, and see if you can fold it about one of these widths and lengths. Maybe about 3 feet long, or 2.5 to 3 feet long, and then just kind of try fold it and pack it down and get it nice and tight. So once you have a little something that you can stretch with, let's talk about the body. So our whole body, if we're going to want to get stretching in for the entire body, we can talk about forward bending and back bending, and we can talk about opening the sides, right? And then there's also twisting. So those are kind of the primary stretches. The most common one is a forward fold, and from there we have the lateral bends. So we'll kind of work into maybe what might be the most comfortable into what might be the more complex. So in the forward fold family, the idea is to stretch the whole back side of the body from the feet all the way up to the head. So if I were to do that, if I were to fold forward here, I have to drop my head and really sink. So what I find that's helpful is for people to grab some kind of a bolster or some kind of a prop, and put your legs a little bit wider and kind of pull it in. Now, if you have also blocks or other things, sometimes what I like to do is prop them up this way and kind of lift them so they're a little bit closer to my body, all right? And then just kind of squeeze in. So then when you're comfortable, you're just going to lay over the bolster, turn your head and close your eyes. So if your head doesn't come down, you can do one of these jobs. Put your head here. You don't have to turn it to the side. But you do want to kind of drop the head as much as you can, because remember, this is a full body stretch. So what we're trying to do is stretch the entire back side of our body from the head all the way down to the toes. So once you've got something, we'll hold this for a couple minutes. If you have to turn your head from side to side, go ahead and do that. Just listen to your body. There's nothing right or wrong about it. So let's dig in. Most of you might be feeling this as kind of a really yummy restorative like pose. So go on in, and if you have no props anywhere and you just want to forward fold, you can do that too. Okay, so let's just drop in, close your eyes, take some breaths. Again, you might want to turn your head to the other side. And then let's come on back up out of that stretch. And just a couple of minutes there might feel really yummy and good, right? So nice full body back stretch. Also forward folds tend to be really calming on the nervous system. So, you know, if you're really feeling anxious or have a lot going on, just drop into a forward fold. So now we're going to go into a whole side body stretch. And again, just have lots of different pillows or props around you. If you have yoga props, that's great. Otherwise, whatever you have. And we'll see what works good for you. So this next one, I'm going to lie sideways on this. So I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to lay on one side. And because I do some work with the bigger bolsters, I'm happy with that. But again, you might want something smaller, something that's like less. And I'm actually going to grab a block too, and I'll show you what I do with that. Remember, pillows work well. So what I'm trying to do now is if I line myself up as straight as I can go, you're going to feel this is kind of propping your body up. And so then the upside of the body, this whatever side is pointing up towards the sky, this is getting the biggest stretch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this here. Some people need a pillow or something under their head, but remember, I really want to stretch from the head to the toes. So I'm going to point my toes. I'm going to bring both arms up over my head, and I'm going to do this whole full body stretch. Now, some folks feel like they're falling over. And so one thing you can do is put that top leg forward a little bit or back a little bit. However, you're going to feel more of a stretch. I like it actually back. And I feel like this is a really big full side stretch. So this is the right side of my body that's facing the sky. And then I'm just going to drop in and breathe. You don't want to hold any muscles. You don't want to feel any contraction of muscles. You want to just try to relax. Again, if your head is really uncomfortable, you may want to put something under the head. It could be a little pillow. Whatever you want to do. And why are we stretching the whole body today? Well, you know, sometimes you just feel compressed. You feel really tight or compacted in your body. And there's lots of reasons that could happen, but one of the reasons that always happens for me, it's like I feel like I'm so much bigger than my body. My vastness is kind of contained in this tiny little body, and I feel like I really want to break out. My spirit really feels so much bigger. So, you know, that's one level. Another level could be that you're just, you know, you're constantly in a chair or at a desk and you're bent over or squished in and contracted, or your spine is getting compressed. And so this is just a really yummy way to open the whole body. Yeah, if you're working with a bedroom pillow, it's probably not going to be firm enough to prop you up for a full stretch. So you might have to use 2 pillows off of your bed if that's what you've got for this big one, because this is really firm. So if you're working with squishy stuff, it's not going to give the same effect. Okay? Just get whatever you can. And just know that sometimes you might have to use 2 or 3 things if they're squishy. And Eventually you'll find the right thing. You don't have to spend a lot of money on props if you don't have them. You can definitely look around the house and see what you can use, and you just have to either use more of them or use them differently. Okay, so just another couple of breaths in the side. This feels really good, especially here around the waist. Again, where if you're sitting a lot, you might feel really tight, like your rib cage and your pelvis are really squished in. And this is giving the rib cage a stretch, just really opening. Lovely, lovely, lovely whole side of the body. So one more breath. And then to come up, you might want to bend your knees, pull them up, and push up with the hands one at a time. Never, when you're coming up, try not to roll on your back where you have to pull up with your belly, or that kind of constrain the back. All right, so now I'm going to come up and stretch the other side. So I'm going to come around, lengthen to this side, laying on this, and try to get my legs nice and straight. I'll grab this again. Okay, and again, where does this go? You want to kind of tuck this all the way into your waist. Okay, and lie on your back, arms come over, right? And you might have to have that pillow between your hands, and then that top leg, do you want to put it forward? Do you want to put it back? Where might you feel more of a stretch? And then you just kind of lean in there and breathe. Now, when we use these bolsters, we call it restorative yoga if we're holding the pose for like 5 to 15 minutes. And that's a really long time. But what it does is it allows your whole body to rest. So you focus on breathing and then you just relax. So we're not doing a full restorative yoga practice today, but because we're using the props, I just want to let you know, you can, once this is recorded and posted, you can push the pause button and just stay here and breathe. And if you set your timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even 15, then you just breathe and you relax, and this is restorative yoga. But if there's parts of your body that are uncomfortable, if you're forcing something and it doesn't feel good, then you're not going to like it. And you're going to want to really, get more props around you. So just surround yourself with tons of different size and shape pillows, and you can wedge them in wherever you need them to go if you don't have yoga props. So just breathe. I'm going to give enough time on this side, just kind of stretching this whole side of the body. There's ways to do these stretches standing. It's really hard to stretch the whole body seated, because we're creasing from the hips. So you're either going to have to lay on the floor or stand up. And so in a moment, I'll tell you, or I'll show you the poses for standing up for those of you who can't get down on the floor. And then that way you'll at least have those options. You can do them. So just a few more breaths to open this side of the body, and then I'll stand up and I'll show you some of those poses, or I'll attempt to. Okay. So again, when you're ready to come out of the pose, you're just going to bend both of your knees and pull them in, roll in, and press your body up with your hands so you're not straining your back, okay? So the first pose we did was just a simple forward fold. If you want to do it standing, all you have to do is bend over and reach for the floor, reach for the prop, and fold in. This could be your forward fold that we did. Standing, you can do a side bend. So I try to do this so that the camera has enough room. I think it's cutting off my head a little bit. But what you can see is if you reach the arms over the head, if you bend to one side and then you cross the leg over, you're getting that side bend. And then again, you can do it to the other side. Cross the leg over. Try not to twist your hips and keep them forward. All right, so those would be options if you're standing. So we did 2 stretches to open both full sides of the body, head to toe, and we did a forward fold. So now I'm going to show you the stretch I like for opening the whole front of the body. And you know, if you think about it, always being kind of bent over a keyboard or a desk or even driving or sitting, the front side of our body is constantly kind of being compressed and pulled in. So this is a really, really big stretch, and it feels like a good one for most people. A couple of you may have some issues with it. You're going to notice I'm putting the big bolster away and I'm grabbing the little bolster or a block, because I feel like for most people that's going to be the best. So we're going to lie on our back and we're going to put one of these things under our hip. And some people use 2 things under the hip. Again, that's up to you. You can kind of see what works for you. So as you come down, and you can feel if I take a full body stretch here, it feels good, but I still need to get a full stretch into the front of the body. So I'm going to pull something. Let's use a block first. I feel like it's an easier prop, but you can use your folded whatever or a couple of pillows. And you're going to put it under your hips so they're elevated, so they're up. And you want them to be up a few inches off the floor, okay? Then you're going to straighten your legs out, straighten your arms over your head, and you're really going to feel that front of the body opening up, right? Whole front of the body. Now, some people feel like this isn't enough to open the front of the body, so I'm going to show you one other way. If you don't want to use the brick, but you like the bolster, we're going to grab that pranayama bolster. And I'm going to put it under my spine, along my spine. I'm going to wedge it in behind my back, lay back. So now my whole back is propped up and stretch over the head, okay? So what's the difference here? The difference is this is pushing my chest up. The block was pushing my hips up, right? So now if you want to get both the chest and the hips up and have the head hang off, which would be really optimal, then you're going to slide up a little bit more. So now your butt and your back are on there, but your head's dropped off. And if you point your toes and reach up, this is a full body stretch, okay? So we're going to stay here and do a few breaths. Slowly in and out. If you have any issues, if any parts of your body don't feel good, make adjustments. It's like I have something going on in this shoulder, so I'm just going to bring that arm out. All right, so nice deep breaths here. Full opening of the front of the body. Very common to feel restricting in your chest, so it's really important to have those arms either up or out. Don't have them close or tucked in because they're already too used to that. And we tend to tuck the head down, so it's good to have the head drop back a little bit. In fact, I can go a little bit more. That bigger bolster is going to give you a bigger freeing up of the neck as well. And so just some nice deep breaths, really get that whole body opening in the front. And so if forward bends are a relaxing thing, where if we're feeling anxious, it kind of slows down that nervous system, back bends have the opposite effect. So this particular pose might make you feel more awakened, more invigorated. So if you you know, if you're feeling a little depressed, this is a great pose to kind of open you up and give you a little boost. It's like a mood booster too. And so we're going to take another breath. And then you can choose which way to roll off the bolster again. Bring up your knees, and with your hand down, go ahead and sit up. So we're getting a little stretching into the body, and I do see some comments. For those of you on Instagram, I'll take a peek at that in a minute. These are some full body stretches that we're moving into. So we're going to go into a twist on each side of the body now. So I want to just explain quickly about twisting because people get kind of confused about twisting. It's really hard to twist the whole body because there are certain parts of the body that aren't meant to twist. Some parts of the body are meant for stability. So what we can twist is a lot of the upper body, things from the upper ribs to the head, right? This whole upper body can twist from side to side. The lower body is not meant to twist. The pelvis particularly is meant for stability, so we don't want to twist from there. So this is how I'm going to show you how to twist the whole body. And I don't think we need any props for this. And maybe a block, maybe a pillow. So what you're going to do is come onto the back, laying down. And I'm going to ask you to roll onto one side and stack your hips. Okay? And then you're going to bring the front knee or leg straight across or bent. And if you need a block under it, you could do that. Now, ideally, legs straight. And then what you're going to try to do is keep the hips here. Up, bolsters out of the way. And then twist your chest open. You see that? And I'm going to open my arms. If I can get this pillow out of the way, I'm going to open my arms to the sides. And give myself this full twist, turning the head in the opposite direction of the foot and leg. So let's go ahead and just breathe into that twist. And then we're going to come and do the other side. So go ahead and release. And if you can get onto your back, just take a full body stretch. And we're going to twist to the other side now. So you don't have to turn around. You can just roll on the other side. But so you don't have to look at my butt. I'm going to swing around. And that way you don't have to look at that. All right, so I'm going to come on to my side. Again, keep that bottom leg straight. Either take the front leg straight across. I like the block under my knee because it kind of supports. Or you can bend it if you have to. But remember, we're trying to get a full body stretch in. So then we're going to open our arms and turn our head to the other side. And we're going to focus on some deep breathing here and just stretch out. This is going to feel really, really good because we're getting some of the internal organs as well, giving them a nice massage. And then we're going to come over again. You can hit pause if this is posted. You're going to bend both knees, roll to the side, and come on up. And so that is a simple stretching you can do for your whole body. If you just feel like you just need to stretch everything out. You just need to really open up and stretch everything out. Start with that forward fold, do the side bends, do the back bend, and then do the twists. And I'll tell you, just that in itself, even if you do 15 minutes of that, your whole body's going to feel refreshed, you're going to feel open, and you're going to feel really excited about the next thing that you're supposed to do, because you're going to be feeling a lot better in your body and even your mind. Your mind's going to feel a little bit quieter. You're going to feel more connected and relaxed. So I do hope you enjoyed all the stretching classes. Go back and take a look. We started with stretches of the neck, the head and neck. We isolated just stretches for that in one class. We did another class where we focused on stretches for the arms and the chest and upper back. We did another stretch for the trunk of the body. It's going to be a lot of the similar poses that we just did now. Then we got into a lot of complex things around the hips and pelvis, around the front of the leg, the back of the leg. We even did a wrist stretching class. So you have lots of different stretch classes to take a look at. If there's a particular part of the body that is problematic for you or chronic, go take a look at some of those other stretch classes, and I think that you'll really like how they alleviate some issues for you, because sometimes we go to the doctor because we're not feeling good, something's happening, we're feeling pain or discomfort in a part of the body. And many times the doctor will prescribe medicine for you and say, just need to go home and relax and, take some medicine. Could be a muscle relaxer, could be an anti-inflammatory or a pain pill. But sometimes if you add these stretches, you're going to actually feel better quicker. And, that's if there's nothing serious going on and the doctor's saying, hey, I think it's tension or stress or muscle pain. So never underestimate the healing power of simple stretching. Listen to your body all the time, and just want to thank you all for tuning in. So many blessings, and I will see you soon.